This series begins with a girl named Lu who is getting ready for her first day of college. Her parents, Sampaj and Suni, are helping her pack her things to move into her new place near the college. Lu has had plastic surgery and feels confident and ready for a fresh start, hoping to leave her difficult school days behind. When Lu arrives at the chemistry department, she feels nervous about her first class, so she peeks through the classroom door to look at her new classmates. She's trying to guess if any of the other girls have also had plastic surgery. While she's watching, she overhears some students talking about the pretty and popular girls, which makes her even more nervous. Then, a guy named Guy tells her to move because she's in his way. Lu is surprised to see Guy because he used to make fun of her in middle school. Once inside, Lu notices that although Guy is good-looking and popular, not many people in class like him. When Lu walks in, Guy keeps looking at her because she seems shy, and he probably doesn't recognize her from their school days. Then, to Lu's surprise, a popular girl named Faye comes over, introduces herself, and asks Lu to sit with her in the front row. After their class, Faye told Lu that Guy had been watching her. Just as Guy started walking towards Lu, Faye quickly asked Lu to leave with her. They went to a place where people pray, and Lu shouted out her dream of becoming a famous perfume maker. She didn't realize she was speaking so loudly until a teacher scolded her for the noise. Faye then asked Lu to be friends and introduced her to two more friends, Mimi and Paula. Meanwhile, Guy kept an eye on Lu from afar. The next day, all the chemistry students met at a cafe to socialize and decide who would lead their department. In one corner, a student named Saint and his friends were talking about how pretty and popular Faye was, even though Saint was actually more interested in Lu. After a vote on looks and popularity, Guy won and was chosen as the head of the department. At that time, they needed to pick one more leader, so they had another vote for the girls. Surprisingly, Faye and Lu tied. Feeling unsure of herself, Lu asked everyone to vote for Faye instead, but Faye insisted that Lu was the better choice because she was not only smart but also had a great personality. Turns out Faye's compliments made almost everyone support choosing Lu as the representative. However, Lu got so nervous that she blurted out she had plastic surgery, hoping this would stop them from picking her. Everyone was stunned by her confession, and feeling embarrassed, Lu quickly left the scene. Soon after, Guy approached Lu in front of the cafe, making her wary because she thought Guy disliked her since he knew about her surgery. Guy warned Lu that Faye wasn't really a good friend. He said Faye was only nice to Lu because it made Faye more popular. Faye knew about Lu's surgery, but pretended to be kind to keep her own popularity. Meanwhile, back in the cafe, Faye said she didn't care about Lu's surgery and wanted her to keep representing their chemistry class. The students started debating who was prettier, Faye with her natural looks or Lu with her surgery. Faye was pleased as many still preferred natural beauty, feeling it proved she was better than Lu. Back outside, even though Guy tried to warn her about Faye, Lu didn't believe him and tried to leave. At that time, Guy tried to stop her, but then Saint showed up and intervened, stopping Guy from bothering Lu. In that moment, Lu, who didn't really know Saint, asked him to keep Guy away from her. Later, as Lu walked home alone, she felt like someone was following her and sped up. Turns out, the person she thought was stalking her was actually Saint, who lived next door to her. The next morning, Lu was on a video call with her parents, telling them she had made lots of friends at college. Suddenly, Saint popped into the video and said hello to Lu's parents, surprising Lu because he already knew them. Saint even told her parents about what happened the night before, which annoyed Lu because she didn't want them to worry. Her parents then asked Saint to keep an eye on her. At campus, Lu felt happy and grateful to have a friend like Faye who seemed to really care about her. Then, a guy named Mac came up to Lu while she was with Faye. Turns out Mac had been asked by Saint to look after Lu. At the same time, Guy saw Lu hanging out with Mac and Faye and looked annoyed. Meanwhile, and noticing Guy's concern, mentioned she had a bad feeling about Faye, suspecting Faye might be up to something bad with Lu. Guy agreed with and asked her to help him find out more about Mac, who was getting close to Lu. Going back to their middle school days, Guy had always paid attention to Lu, but she kept her distance. One day, he asked Lu to help him pick out a perfume. Soon after, they went to a perfume shop together, and when Lu chose a perfume, Guy leaned in to smell it. Meanwhile, in the chemistry lab, Faye was busy working on a petition, but only Guy and refused to sign it. At that time, Lu didn't like the way Guy was acting, and Guy was upset with Faye. He thought Faye was complimenting Lu too much just to make her look bad. Hearing that, Faye denied these accusations. After class, Guy warned Lou to be careful around Mac and Faye. But Lou got mad, thinking he was the last person who should be giving advice. She brought up how Guy had made fun of her perfume choice back in middle school. But there, Guy tried to clear up the misunderstanding, explaining that he actually liked Lou and had wanted to be friends since middle school. But Lou didn't trust him because she was upset about the perfume shop incident. Then, Lou also remembered that Guy never stood up for her when she was bullied. Guy explained that he had always tried to help and wanted to be friends back in the perfume shop, but Lou misunderstood him and left before he could explain. Even though Guy has tried to explain now, Lou still doesn't want to be friends and asked him to stay out of her life. After hearing that, Guy agreed and walked away. Later, Guy and overheard Mac talking with a friend about using Lou to make himself look good because he couldn't date the popular Faye. When it suggested that Guy should protect Lou, he said no because Lou had told him not to get involved in her matters. In the afternoon at the canteen, Mac suddenly walked up to Lou, who was having lunch with Faye and others. He asked her to step aside for a talk, where he openly shared his feelings and asked Lou to be his girlfriend. Lou was surprised that someone could like her that way. At the same time, Faye, who was upset about losing a competition to Lou, forced a smile to hide her annoyance. When Lou excused herself to the restroom to think before answering Mac, Faye took the chance to tell Mac she had feelings for him. Mac was shocked because his dream girl confessed her feelings first. When Lou came back ready to accept Mac's proposal, Mac, thinking he had a chance with Faye, told Lou he was just practicing his acting. This hurt Lou deeply because she felt tricked by him. Upon knowing that, Faye pretended to be kind and comforted Lou. Meanwhile, Guy, annoyed by the whole situation, made Mac trip and fall in the canteen. Embarrassed, he attacked Guy, and they ended up fighting right there. Because of the fight, both were called to Professor Mean's office for a warning. Saint then showed up and presented a recording of the fight, explaining that Mac started it. He also criticized Mac for not sticking to their agreement to look out for Lou, which he had failed, making her feel even worse. At the same time, Guy felt grateful to Saint for defending him in front of Professor Mean. However, Lou's dislike for Guy grew because she believed he was blaming Faye for all her problems. Meanwhile, Faye tried to explain to Lou that she confessed her feelings to Mac just to test if he was truly interested in Lou. There, Faye told Lou she didn't want to see her get hurt by Mac. Lou felt moved by her explanation and trusted her even more as a good friend. Meanwhile, Guy, feeling upset, tore up a family photo that included his mother and threw it away when he got home. The next day at school, Faye told Mac that she couldn't date him because Lou really loved him. This annoyed Mac and, without realizing it, Faye was actually causing more trouble between him and Lou. Upset with Lou, Mac searched for her old photos before her surgery, planning to use them to threaten her. Mac then confronted Lou, telling her to stop loving him so he could be with Faye. Lou was shocked by his harshness. At that time, he even threatened to share her old photos if she didn't back off and let him be with Faye. Shortly after, Faye showed up and pretended to be upset, acting like she was being forced to accept Mac's affection for Lou. Lou, not wanting Faye to be unhappy, even told Mac he could share her old photos if it would help Faye. Mac got even more annoyed with Lou for interfering in his relationship with Faye. Meanwhile, Guy appeared and confronted Mac for being mean to Lou, hurting his hand in the process. Soon after, an old photo of Lou before her surgery was leaked, embarrassing her greatly. Upset, Lou ran out and caught a taxi, with Guy following her. But when Guy got to Lou's apartment, he saw her crying and being comforted by Saint, which made him feel jealous and ignore the pain in his injured hand. Feeling disappointed, Guy went to a nearby store to get some first aid for his hand. There, he unexpectedly ran into Saint. At that time, Saint mentioned that Guy was too late and had to witness how close Lou and Saint had become. But Guy bragged that he knew Lou better because they were old school friends. However, Saint argued back, saying he was closer to Lou because he was her neighbor. This made Guy even more frustrated with him. The next day, Guy and Mac were called into Professor Mean's office because of their fight the previous day. They both got a stern warning and were told they'd be punished if there were any more disruptions. After they left the office, Guy asked Mac how he found Lou's old photos. There, Mac admitted he got them from a fan account of Faye. Curious, Guy decided to investigate further. He joined Faye's fan account using a fake profile and started messaging while keeping an eye on Faye as she replied to comments from her fans. At that time, Guy thought Faye might share Lou's photo in her fan group, so he confronted her, hoping to catch her in the act. However, it turned out that it was Faye's fans who had shared Lou's old photos, not Faye herself. Embarrassed by his mistake and without any proof against Faye, Guy left the class frustrated with himself for wrongly accusing her. Meanwhile, Saint was helping Lou, who skipped class because she was embarrassed by what happened the day before. He took her to his perfume room to distract her, and they talked about an upcoming party invitation from Linda, a well-known perfume business owner in Thailand. That evening, Lou and Saint went to a party together. While they were there, Saint mentioned that he had worked with a perfume business owner named Linda, who had inspired Lou to become a perfume maker. At the party, Lou tried a new perfume and quoted Linda, calling perfume invisible beauty. At that time, Linda overheard this and was impressed that Lou remembered her phrase. After the party, Linda invited Lou to a cafe to chat more. Lou was excited to talk with her idol, and Linda shared stories about her son whom she missed dearly as they had been apart for a long time. Meanwhile, Guy and Ann arrived at the cafe and were surprised to find Lou with Linda, who was Guy's mother. Linda was happy to see her son, but Guy didn't seem pleased with the meeting. He even warned her not to use Lou as a way to see him. Then, Guy tried to get Lou to leave with him, but she refused, so he left on his own. Outside the cafe, and scolded Guy for being rude. He ignored her complaints and revealed that the woman they saw, Linda, was his mother who had left him in the past. At the cafe, Lou apologized to Linda for Guy's rude behavior. Linda realized Lou was a friend of Guy's from college and asked her to help mend their strained relationship. Meanwhile, at home, Guy's younger sister, Gail, was doing a live stream to sell clothes. She asked him to join the live stream to help promote the new products and show off his good looks to the viewers. On a different day, Lou arranged to meet Guy at a cafe to talk about Linda, but every time she tried to bring it up, Guy changed the subject to campus stuff. He also mentioned that he had removed all of Lou's old photos from the internet to help her feel comfortable returning to campus. Upon hearing that, she was touched by his thoughtful action. When Lou tried to talk about Linda again, Guy revealed he knew Lou was trying to reunite him with Linda, who was already at the cafe. There, he scolded Linda for using Lou for her own purposes. Before leaving, he expressed his disappointment in Linda for choosing her career and boyfriend over her family. As Guy walked out of the cafe, Lou followed him. There, he explained that he disliked the perfume Lou chose back at the perfume shop because it was his mother's favorite scent. He shared painful memories of his childhood, recalling how his mother's obsession with perfume led to his parents' divorce. The next day, Lou met Linda at a cafe. During their talk, Lou learned that Linda had lost her sense of smell because of an accident. Linda shared that she used to argue a lot with her husband, Croquefon, because they had different views. Linda wanted to continue her career as a perfume maker even though she was married with children, but Croquefon wanted her to be a full-time housewife. One day, during an argument, Croquefon accidentally caused Linda to fall, leading to a brain injury that made her lose her sense of smell. Linda was heartbroken because she couldn't smell her perfumes anymore. Meanwhile, Croquefon was actually pleased because he thought Linda could now stay home. However, being a full-time housewife made her depressed, and eventually, Croquefon suggested they get a divorce. It was a tough choice, but Linda decided to divorce, even though it meant she had to live away from her children. After hearing Linda's story, Lou felt compelled to help. She rushed to campus to find Guy. Soon after, Guy showed up at Linda's office and revealed that he knew Lou had met with Linda because Linda had asked her to. Linda felt that Guy still couldn't accept her and gave up hope of reconciling with him. Nonetheless, Linda had one last request for Guy to take care of Gail. Soon after, Guy brought a bouquet to Linda and asked her to smell the flowers. She initially refused but finally admitted to Guy that she had lost her sense of smell because of an accident caused by Croquefon. Linda shared that she had always hoped to see her children again, even if just for a simple dinner. Moved by his mother's story, Guy decided to bring Gail to visit Linda at her house. When Croquefon found out, he panicked, worried that Linda might tell their children about how he had treated her. Meanwhile, Guy and Gail enjoyed a dinner with Linda. At that time, Linda was delighted to finally be with her children again, whom she had only seen during Gail's live streams. After dinner, Guy and Linda talked on the balcony. There, He told his mother that he was choosing to stay neutral and not take sides between his parents because he wanted to find his own path by living independently near campus. Linda supported his decision and reminded him to thank Lou for helping to bring them together. One day, Guy took Lou for a walk in the park to thank her for helping him and his mom patch things up. During the walk, they talked through some old misunderstandings and decided to become friends. Later, Guy was looking for an available apartment in Lou's building, but all the rooms were taken, which disappointed him. At that moment, Saint approached Guy and suspected that he was trying to move in near Lou on purpose. Saint suggested Guy look elsewhere since there were no vacancies. Seeing Saint's protective attitude, Guy started to view him as a rival for Lou's affection. Then, Saint got a shock when he learned that his neighbor was moving out that day. He worried this meant Guy could potentially move into the now empty apartment. A few days later, while students were getting ready for a festival on campus, Anne, hanging out with Guy and Lou in the canteen, mentioned she wasn't interested in the festival. Instead, she invited a couple of friends to go to the beach. At that time, Guy had to pass because he had other responsibilities, and asked Lou to join her at the beach instead. While talking, Guy warned Lou to be careful about agreeing to help with the festival. He was worried someone might try to take advantage of her. Soon after, Faye asked Lou to serve drinks at the festival. Remembering Guy's advice, Lou declined because she heard that the servers often had to wear revealing outfits, which she wasn't comfortable with. At that time, Faye pretended she didn't know about the dress code. Later, during a lab session, Faye and Lou were supposed to work together, but Faye let Lou do all the work alone. When Lou asked Faye to help hold a measuring cup and she didn't assist, the cup fell and injured Faye's leg. Seeing that, Lou felt guilty, thinking it was her fault Faye got hurt. In the first aid room, Faye showed how upset she was because she couldn't find anyone else to serve drinks at the festival. Feeling bad, Lou agreed to help, but only if she could wear less revealing clothes. There, Faye promised to talk to the festival committee about changing the outfit. Meanwhile, Guy, who was still concerned for Lou, waited outside the first aid room. When Lou came out, she lied to Guy, telling him she couldn't go to the beach with him because she had family issues to deal with. After checking on Lou, Guy went back to searching for an apartment near campus online, but he couldn't find a good place. Then, Saint found out and suggested Guy look for an apartment further away from Lou's place, even sending him some recommendations. At the campus festival, Lou and Faye were getting ready to change into their uniforms for serving drinks, but Lou was upset because the uniforms were still too revealing. At that time, Faye acted like she didn't know about this issue. Meanwhile, at the festival, Anne arrived after deciding not to go to the beach since Lou couldn't join her because of supposed family issues. However, one of Anne's friends mentioned they had just seen Lou serving drinks at the festival. That's when Anne realized that Lou had lied to her. On the other hand, Lou felt uncomfortable in her revealing uniform but had to continue working. Meanwhile, a senior student named Third was pleased because the waitress's outfits were boosting sales and tips. Soon after, Faye came to Third with a sad face, complaining about a rude customer. Without hesitation, Third told Lou to take over for Faye, saying that women who have had facial surgery could be treated however people wanted. After hearing that Lou followed her senior's orders, although it made her feel exploited by a customer who kept making her wipe the table. At that moment, a customer even secretly filmed Lou while she was working. On the other hand, Anne, who was watching from afar, became worried about Lou. Elsewhere, Guy was arguing with Saint about the unappealing apartment Saint had recommended. Meanwhile, Nam, the manager of the apartment where Lou lives, approached Guy to tell him about an available unit. Guy was annoyed with Saint for misleading him. There, Nam tried to get Guy to sign a rental contract, but he rushed off to help Lou at the festival after hearing she was in trouble. When Guy arrived at the festival, he immediately defended Lou and confronted two misbehaving customers, telling them to stop bothering her. He also gave Faye a stern look for tricking Lou into taking the job as a drink server. In the evening, all the chemistry students met to discuss their sales for the day. At that time, Third was proud because they had achieved the highest sales ever. He complimented Lou on how her appearance had attracted many customers. However, when they read comments from other students about Lou's service, many were negative and some even made fun of her for having plastic surgery. Hurt by the comments, Lou quickly left the gathering. Soon after, Guy tried to follow her but was held back by Mock, who challenged him to a drinking contest, claiming the winner would get Faye's attention. Back at her apartment, Lou called her mom to share how tough her day had been and cried, wishing for a normal life without being mocked. Meanwhile, at the campus, Guy won the drinking contest. At that time, Faye was pushed towards him, but he stepped aside and instead addressed his friends about their poor treatment of Lou. Later, as Guy walked home with Anne, he shared his frustration about not getting an apartment unit due to Saint's interference. When they arrived at Lou's apartment building to check if there were any vacancies, Saint unexpectedly handed Guy the rental contract and keys to an available apartment. At that moment, Guy was surprised and questioned Saint's actions, while Anne commented that Saint wasn't as bad as Guy had thought. That night, as Guy moved in, Saint even helped carry his things, showing a friendlier side. The next morning, Lou received a message from her mom encouraging her not to let her challenges get her down. Soon after, someone rang Lou's doorbell, and when she opened the door, she was surprised to see Guy, who was now her neighbor. There, Lou was happy to see that Saint and Guy were getting along. Then, Saint mentioned that he had helped Guy get an apartment in the building. Guy, however, found Saint a bit annoying because Saint had spent all night arranging things in Guy's new apartment. The three of them then talked about a tradition in their department where juniors were expected to wear revealing clothes to boost sales. Lou expressed her desire to end this tradition, and Saint and Guy agreed to help make changes. When they got to campus, they shared Lou's idea with other students, who supported the change. Not wasting any time, Guy and Saint set up perfumes made by Linda at the festival site to attract customers without relying on the old tradition of sexy outfits. Meanwhile, Lou, Faye, and Mimi were serving customers while dressed in cute, full-coverage animal costumes. When Faye realized they were just one drink short of surpassing the previous sales record set by the sexy theme, she pretended to faint. However, her act caused a problem, especially since she was wearing revealing clothes underneath her animal costume. Upon knowing that, Guy quickly covered her with a cloth and carried her to the first aid room. At that time, Guy suspected that Faye was faking her fainting, but Saint told him to go back to the festival and said he would stay with Faye in the first aid room. Later that night, Faye woke up and was surprised to find Saint still there. She thought he was watching her, but Saint revealed he knew she had faked fainting to sabotage Lou's plans. He also suspected that Faye had been manipulating Mac, but she denied it. Then, Saint told her he was tired of her schemes and warned that he, along with Guy, would be keeping an eye on her. Meanwhile, Guy and Lou were walking around the campus festival when Saint called to check on them. As Lou explained where they were, she accidentally ended up at a speed dating stand and was pushed to participate. In the game, the first person to declare their love could leave. Guy quickly joined in, declared his love for Lou, and asked her to leave the stand with him. Surprised and embarrassed, Lou spilled her drink but then followed Guy away from the stand. But, because Lou's clothes got wet from the spilled drink, Guy suggested she change into dry clothes in their department's meeting room. But when they tried to leave, they found themselves locked in because the door wouldn't open. After changing, Lou thanked Guy for helping her escape the speed dating game, especially since he had to pretend to confess his love. However, Guy confessed that his declaration of love wasn't just an act cause he genuinely had feelings for Lou. Upon hearing that, Lou didn't respond to Guy's confession right away, and just then, two of their friends managed to open the stuck door. Feeling nervous, Lou quickly left the room, pretending she needed to meet Saint. She ignored calls from another friend who was trying to tell her that Saint was actually right outside the room. In the evening, both Lou and Guy thought about each other and considered sending messages, but they both decided against it. The next morning, they passed each other in front of the room. When Guy tried to talk about what happened the previous night, Lou avoided the topic by steering the conversation elsewhere. When Guy got to class, he told him about what happened the night before. And encouraged Guy to win Lou's heart before Saint had the chance. Meanwhile, everyone on campus was talking about Faye fainting at the festival, and some students were pairing her with Guy because they both were considered naturally good-looking. However, some comments said that Guy and Lou wouldn't make a good couple because Lou had undergone plastic surgery. After class, Guy tried to ask Lou to talk, but she said she couldn't because she was heading out with friends. During a lab session, Lou realized she had forgotten her lab coat, so Guy lent her his, secretly slipping in a paper with a date invitation. Unfortunately, she never found the note. When Guy hinted that she should check the coat's pocket, Lou, not wanting to go through someone else's belongings, took off the coat and handed it back to Guy, foiling his plan to ask her out on a date. This left Guy frustrated because his attempt to ask Lou out hadn't worked. Guy couldn't hold back his feelings any longer, So he went to the cafe where Lou was and asked her out for the weekend. Lou didn't respond and just sat there silently until Saint showed up, giving her a chance to walk away from Guy. Guy was frustrated because Saint always seemed to be getting in the way of his relationship with Lou. Saint calmly explained that Lou couldn't go out with Guy over the weekend because she and Saint already had plans for Saturday. Curious, Guy tried to overhear Lou talking with her friends and learned that Saint had invited her to a perfume museum. Determined to impress Lou, Guy decided he needed to come up with a better date idea than a perfume museum. On Saturday, Lou and Saint visited a perfume museum owned by Saint's family. Lou enjoyed herself, discovering various types of rare perfumes. After their museum visit, they chatted in Saint's rooftop garden. During their conversation, Saint brought up Guy's confession of love for Lou. There, Saint mentioned he knew Lou had feelings for Guy. Upon hearing that, Lou admitted this was true, but she explained that she couldn't return his feelings because she was worried he would be bullied for being close to her, just like a friend from middle school who was bullied for defending her. Because of this, Lou felt she needed to keep her distance from Guy to protect him from being ridiculed by others. Meanwhile, Guy, along with and went back to his junior high school to take pictures of every corner. He planned to use these photos to invite Lou on a date back to their school, hoping to create new memories together. When Lou returned to her apartment, she found a package from Guy hanging on her door. Inside were photos of their school, which left her speechless. Soon after, she told Saint that Guy had asked her out to their school, but she was unsure what to do. There, Saint suggested that if Lou planned to turn down Guy's invitation, she might consider starting a relationship with someone else. Saint also mentioned that he, like Lou, had a somewhat bad reputation and was often seen as a troublemaker. He argued that if Lou dated him, people wouldn't criticize them as much. Encouraging her to give him a chance to show his true feelings, Saint's proposal only added to Lou's confusion about her feelings and what to do. The next morning, Lou and Saint ran into each other at the laundromat. Despite his serious conversation the night before, they managed to interact casually and even joked around. That's when Guy arrived with his laundry, feeling jealous of how close they seemed. Soon after, Guy tried to intervene, but Lou, feeling uncomfortable, quickly left the area. After she left, Guy confronted Saint about whether he and Lou were dating. There, Saint responded with a joke, which only frustrated Guy more. On another occasion, Guy received back a gift he had previously given to Lou. Inside the gift, she had left a note declining his invitation to go out, which made Guy feel sad and less enthusiastic while on campus. Seeing her friend down, and tried to cheer him up by telling him he still had a chance to win Lou's heart. Meanwhile, in the pop culture class that both Guy and Lou were taking, their lecturer assigned them to write an essay about a film, which required working in pairs. After class, Lou was confused because she hadn't yet found a partner. On the other hand, Mimi, another student in the class, was already paired up with someone else, leaving Lou needing to find someone else to work with. At that moment, Guy walked out of the room, and Mimi, seeing this, suggested that Lou should pair up with Guy. At that time, Lou initially resisted the idea, but with no other options, she agreed to work with him. Upon knowing that, Guy was thrilled because it meant he could spend more time with Lou. Unbeknownst to them, Faye, who was observing from a distance, felt annoyed because Lou was getting more attention from Guy. Then, to make sure he was prepared for his time with Lou, Guy also checked his savings. Finding them low, he decided to earn extra money by becoming a private tutor. When the day came to watch a movie together, Guy decided to also take Lou to the city festival. However, she kept her distance, even refusing to let him buy her any food or drinks. At the game area, Guy tried to win a Goose plush toy for Lou by playing a ball toss game, but he kept losing and ended up only winning a small keychain. Meanwhile, Lou played a different game and won the big plush goose that Guy had been trying to win for her. Seeing that Guy could only offer a weak smile, feeling disappointed in himself for not being able to win the prize for Lou. As evening came and the movie screening was about to start, Lou laid out mats for them to sit on, while Guy went to get snacks and drinks. When he returned with the food, Lou insisted on paying him back for her share, even though Guy had intended to treat her. Soon after, the film started, but Guy found it hard to make conversation and get closer to Lou. After the film, not wanting the evening to end on a subdued note, Guy insisted they go out to dinner together. When they arrived at the restaurant, Lou was taken aback by how fancy and expensive it was. Despite this, Guy assured her he would cover the bill and asked her not to refuse his gesture. While Guy was still deciding what to order at the restaurant, Lou excused herself to the restroom where she received a call from Linda. There, Linda told her she had brought food to Guy's apartment and invited Lou to join them for a meal. She also mentioned that Guy was struggling financially but had been refusing any money she offered him. Lou, worried after hearing this, hurried back to the table and was shocked to see Guy placing an order with the waitress. She quickly asked him to cancel the order and suggested they go home instead. Though Guy was puzzled by her sudden change of heart, he agreed, and they left the restaurant. On their way home, Lou confessed that she knew about Guy's financial troubles and didn't want him to spend money on expensive food. But there, Guy playfully teased her for finally showing concern about him, which made Lou a bit flustered as she tried to clarify her intentions. This lighthearted exchange helped ease the tension between them, and Guy felt relieved and happy. When they reached the apartment, Linda was waiting for them. The plan was for all three to have dinner together, but they realized Guy hadn't bought any cutlery. Then, Lou stepped up to bring some from her place. Linda's presence helped warm up the atmosphere even more. As the evening goes by, Guy and Lou found themselves enjoying each other's company, joking around while washing dishes. Linda even took a moment to secretly capture these cheerful interactions, happy to see them getting along so well. When Lou realized she was getting too caught up in the fun, she politely excused herself to go home. There, Guy helped her by carrying the cutlery she had brought over. Before she left, Linda attached the goose keychain that Guy had won to Lou's bag as a small gesture. After Guy returned to his own room, Linda playfully commented on how close he seemed to be getting with Lou, which made him happy because he felt that Linda was helping him connect better with Lou. Back in her room, Lou received a photo from Linda, which made her smile joyfully as she reminisced about the time spent with Guy. But her mood changed when she got a message from Faye asking to meet at a cafe. There, Faye confessed her feelings for Guy and asked Lou to help her win his heart. Upon hearing that, Lou was taken aback and felt sad because she secretly liked Guy too. However, she also felt conflicted about having to turn down Faye's request. Then, Lou asked Faye how long she had felt this way about Guy. Faye, not being entirely truthful, claimed her feelings started when Guy stood up for her by taking on a drinking challenge from Mock. Faye then urged Lou to help set her up with Guy. However, Lou, unsure what to do, stayed quiet, listening to everything Faye said. The next day in the lab, Anne, who was in the same group as Guy, decided to switch partners to give him a chance to work with Lou. However, Faye, who got wind of this plan, insisted on partnering with Guy even though he had already turned her down. But Faye ignored this and left Lou out, which annoyed both Guy and Anne, as it messed up their plan. There, Lou watched Guy and Faye work together, feeling jealous of their forced closeness. After the lab class, Faye kept following Guy around, which really bothered him. With a sad look, she told Guy she just wanted to be closer to him. Hearing this, he told her that it was not possible for them to be close friends because of her manipulative nature and tendency to use others for her own benefit. Despite Guy's clear rejection, Faye wouldn't back down and even tried to put Lou in a tough spot by blaming her for Guy's dislike towards her. Faye expressed her disappointment that Lou wasn't helping her get closer to Guy. Feeling guilty, she finally agreed to help Faye. Later, back at the apartment, Lou invited Guy to have lunch together. But there, Guy, unsuspecting and pleased by Lou's friendly gesture, happily accepted. However, when they got to the restaurant, Guy was surprised to find that Lou had also invited Faye to join them. Feeling awkward and not wanting to interfere, Lou excused herself to the restroom, leaving Guy and Faye alone at the table. In the restroom, Lou felt sad because she felt she had to give up the guy she liked for Faye's sake. Meanwhile, at the table, Guy was becoming increasingly frustrated with Faye, who he felt was exploiting Lou's kindness to get close to him. Then, he confronted Faye about her true intentions, and Faye bluntly told him that he didn't deserve Lou, who had undergone plastic surgery to achieve her looks. Faye argued that Guy should be with someone like her, naturally beautiful and popular, suggesting that together they could even make money from their popularity. Disgusted by her words, Guy decided he had enough and went to find Lou. When he found her, Guy asked Lou why she tried to push him towards Faye. At that time, Lou, who was in tears, confessed that she felt she wasn't good enough for him because of what other people might think. But there, Guy tried to reassure her not to worry about others' opinions, but Lou sadly claimed she didn't love him. Heartbroken, Guy watched as Lou left crying and found comfort in Saint's arms. There, Lou shared everything that had happened with Saint. Even though she felt guilty for rejecting Guy, she believed it was the best decision for them both, to avoid further complications and hurt. On the other hand, Guy, who feeling heartbroken went to a bar to drown his sorrows and talked with Anne, who was with him. He shared his confusion about Lou crying when she rejected him. He thought that if Lou really didn't like him, she wouldn't be upset about rejecting him. While they were talking, Third came up and started insulting Lou for her plastic surgery. This made Guy so angry that he ended up hitting him. Meanwhile, Lou confessed to Saint that she had rejected Guy because Faye liked him. At that time, Saint was puzzled about why Faye was suddenly so involved in Guy and Lou's relationship. While they were discussing this, Lou received a call from Anne, who was looking for Linda's phone number because Guy had gotten into trouble at the bar and was now at the police station. Worried, Lou rushed to the station where Guy explained he had gotten into a fight defending Lou's honor against Third's insults. At the station, Lou asked Third to apologize to her. Upon hearing that, Guy supported this, threatening legal action unless Third apologized for his offensive remarks. With no other options, Third apologized, ending the conflict between him and Guy. After resolving the issue, and decided to head home, while Linda wanted some private time to talk with Lou and asked Guy to leave with Saint. At a cafe, Linda asked Lou about her true feelings since she had just rejected Guy. There, Lou confessed that she did like Guy, but felt she wasn't the right girl for him, believing he deserved someone better. Linda was surprised by Lou's reasoning and reminded her that nobody is perfect and everyone has their flaws. Meanwhile, Faye was doing a live stream for her fans. After finishing, she checked her weight and noticed she had gained 2 kilos, which upset her. She then went to the bathroom to make herself vomit the food she had eaten, hoping to lose the weight. Back at the apartment, Saint offered to take care of Guy's injuries, so he went to Saint's room. There, he noticed that Saint shared Lou's interest in perfumes. This made Guy feel even more unworthy of Lou, thinking her life might be better with Saint, who shared her interests. The next day at school, Faye joined Lou and others, claiming that Guy had called her to work on an assignment together. Soon after, and arrived and revealed she had seen Faye returning to a rundown neighborhood, contradicting Faye's claims of living in a wealthy area. Faye tried to brush off Anne's comments, making excuses to cover up her lie. On another day, Lou received a surprise bouquet of flowers and at the same time, a message from Guy asking her to meet. When she met him, Guy confessed that he had been too pushy about wanting her to be his girlfriend. He told her that he would respect her wishes and work with Faye on a school assignment, accepting that Lou might be happier with someone else. Guy mentioned he thought Lou liked Saint and expressed his hope that she would be happy with him. Later, Lou left with Saint, who had been waiting for her. Everyone around them thought they made a perfect couple because both had somewhat mixed reputations on campus. That evening, Saint and Lou went to the park to talk. When Lou began talking about Guy, she started crying and apologized to Saint, saying she couldn't return his feelings even though his were genuine. There, Saint told her he would support whatever decision she made and encouraged her to clear up any misunderstandings with Guy. After thanking Saint, Lou rushed to Guy's room but got no response. She also tried calling his phone with no luck, so she called Linda to find out where he was. Soon after, Lou went to Linda's house and was relieved to find Guy there, learning to make perfume. At that moment, Guy was surprised to see her. Lou didn't waste any moment and confessed her true feelings to him, which made him very happy. Then, they hugged, officially becoming a couple. Walking back to their apartment, Guy and Lou ran into Saint at the laundromat. There, he proudly announced that he and Lou were now officially a couple. Upon hearing that, Saint said he had known about it before Guy did, which confused Guy. Upon listening to them, Lou just smiled and didn't explain further. The next morning, Guy invited Lou to a campus party where they were giving out rings for couples. There, she accepted and mentioned that she planned to tell Faye about their relationship. However, Guy, who was concerned for Lou, asked her to be careful around Faye. At campus, Lou apologized to Faye for not being able to help her get closer to Guy, explaining that she and Guy were now officially dating. Upon hearing that Faye seemed angry at first and almost lashed out at Lou but suddenly shifted her mood, pretending to be happy and congratulated Lou and Guy. Looking into Faye's background, she came from a modest family where her mother constantly pressured her to appear perfect. She had to excel academically, maintain an ideal body, and have a beautiful face. Her mother was harsh when Faye made mistakes. Without financial means for plastic surgery, Faye worked hard to meet these expectations. Unfortunately, her mother's ambitions prevented Faye from understanding herself and learning the value of genuine kindness. At the campus party, Guy and Lou were looking forward to the couple's ring game, a major event at the party. However, they were shocked to find that their rings didn't match each other. Unexpectedly, Faye was wearing the ring that matched Guy's. Then, she quickly approached Guy and told everyone a made-up romantic story about them. It turned out that Faye had secretly swapped the rings before the party started. At that time, Guy struggled to keep his cool, especially after Faye suddenly kissed him. After the party, in the bathroom, Faye was seen wiping her lips and cleaning herself from any contact with Guy. Meanwhile, Lou, who was also in the bathroom, was surprised by Faye's actions and confronted her about lying to everyone. On the other hand, Faye, clearly frustrated, confessed her resentment towards Lou for coming from a wealthy family that could afford plastic surgery easily. There, Faye also admitted she was the one who had spread old photos of Lou before her surgery and had used Mac to make Lou's life difficult. Lou was heartbroken by these revelations, especially since she had thought of Faye as a friend. The next day at the apartment, Lou shared the previous night's events with Guy. She expressed how hurt she was by the betrayal of someone she considered her first friend. Guy then comforted her, revealing that he had always been her true first friend, as he had secretly taken revenge on those who bullied her in the past. Upon hearing that, Lou was shocked and deeply moved, realizing for the first time the extent of Guy's loyalty and support for her. Shortly after, Saint caught Guy and Lou sharing a moment together and teased them, even though they were discussing how to handle Faye, who had been causing trouble for Lou. Then, Guy asked Saint for help in coming up with a plan to discourage Faye from her harmful behavior. Later on, Guy, Lou, Saint, and then gathered to figure out the best way to make sure Faye wouldn't hurt anyone else. They started by checking her social media and gathering different pieces of information about her. Soon after, Guy shared that he had seen Faye going to the bathroom to throw up after meals. Armed with this information, they set their plan in motion. To flatter Faye and put her off guard, Guy warmly greeted her in front of her friends, making it seem like they were in a relationship. He even gave her a cake to celebrate their relationship. Despite being on a diet, Faye felt compelled to eat the cake to keep up appearances with her friends. Soon after, Faye excused herself to the bathroom to vomit the cake she had just eaten. Soon after, Lou followed her and tried to convince Faye to come clean about her lies. However, she refused to take Lou's advice and continued to praise herself while speaking poorly of Lou. She even boasted about using her friends Paula and Mimi, whom she considered her followers. Unknown to Faye, Lou recorded the entire conversation. With the recording, Lou now had leverage and threatened to share it unless Faye changed her ways. In the campus hallway, Faye ignored Lou's threats, thinking Lou had deleted the recording of her confession. Then, Faye walked up to Guy and acted as if he was her boyfriend. At that moment, everyone's phones buzzed with a notification, and it was the recording of Faye admitting she used her fans and friends to gain popularity. At that time, Faye blamed Lou for leaking it, but her friends didn't believe her anymore, and some even started sharing stories of Faye's past wrongdoing. And Faye, feeling betrayed and isolated, lashed out at everyone around her. The next day, social media buzzed with discussions about Lou, Faye, and Guy. While Lou and Guy chose not to engage with the online comments, Faye was distressed to see her carefully crafted image falling apart. Adding to her troubles, Faye received a red gift box which she thought was from a fan. However, inside the box were secretly taken bad photos of her and a dead mouse, which left her feeling even more disturbed and unsafe. Meanwhile, Saint informed Lou about the bad photos of Faye that were circulating online. At that time, Lou was genuinely concerned for Faye's safety, especially after hearing rumors that someone was planning to attack Faye with acid. Determined to help, Lou and her friends decided to track down Faye and find the potential attacker. To expedite their search, Guy and Saint took to the internet for clues, while Lou and the rest led a ground search to confront the person behind the threats. After finding some clues, Guy and Saint suspected Mimi might be involved, so Lou quickly went to find her. When Lou confronted her, Mimi confessed that she was the one who had shared the recording of Faye from the bathroom because she was upset by how badly Faye had treated her. Worried that Mimi might do something more extreme, Lou checked her bag for any signs of acid, but found nothing, indicating Mimi wasn't planning any physical harm against Faye. Realizing Mimi wasn't their culprit, Guy and Saint speculated that someone knowledgeable about acids might be involved. Then, they decided to investigate further by going to the cafe Faye frequented to ask about the person who was with her the day she had an accident in the lab. At that time, the cafe staff mentioned that the man who was with Faye smelled like acid, leading Guy and Saint to suspect Mock, as his lab coat had acid stains on it from the same day. Guy called another student named Film to question Mock about the coat. When Film questioned Mock, Mock revealed that he had borrowed Jerry's lab coat that day. With this new piece of information from Film, Guy and Saint deduced that Jerry was the actual person who was planning to harm Faye with acid. While searching for her lost cat, Faye ran into Jerry, who had found her cat. During their encounter, Jerry expressed his disappointment with how Faye had treated him, which had driven him to seek revenge for all her past misdeeds toward him. Turns out, Jerry was the owner of a fan account that had defended Faye from accusations in the past and admitted he had deep feelings for her, even thinking of her as his girlfriend. However, Faye had just used Jerry for her own benefit and was more interested in getting close to Guy. Upset and feeling betrayed, Jerry revealed his plan to harm Faye's appearance with acid. Frightened by this threat, Faye ran away, and Jerry chased after her. Meanwhile, Lou and others were searching for Faye because they were concerned about her safety with Jerry threatening her. Soon, Lou found Faye in a narrow alley, looking visibly upset. There, Lou checked the liquid on the ground around Faye, fearing it might be acid. Relieved to find it wasn't, Lou tried to comfort Faye, telling her she was unharmed. However, Faye, overwhelmed and distressed, slapped Lou, accusing her of reveling in her misfortune. Upset by the accusation, Lou slapped Faye back in a moment of frustration, hoping to snap her out of her irrational state. Meanwhile, Guy and his friends managed to catch Jerry just as he was trying to escape. The next morning, Lou visited Faye in the hospital. At that time, Faye was confused about why Lou would still be kind to her after all the trouble she had caused. There, Lou explained that she didn't want Faye to feel as lonely as Lou had felt in the past when many people disliked her. Moved by Lou's kindness, Faye promised to try to be a better person. Over time, Faye started to hang out again with Lou and the others who had forgiven her. Meanwhile, Linda encountered Croquefon at a restaurant where they met as business partners, having decided to collaborate professionally. During their meeting, he apologized to Linda for his past wrongdoings. The scene ends with Lou and Guy enjoying a date at a night market. There, Lou openly shares her feelings for Guy by giving him a piece of paper with a chemical molecule drawn on it, symbolizing love. At that moment, Guy is delighted to see Lou's unique way of expressing her affection. The series ends on this happy note. The moral lesson from this series is if you're going to steal someone's dessert, make sure they're not secretly recording you, cause it could end up more than your stomach can handle.